So we are talking about the compound sentences. There are three types of sentences. The simple, which has one subject, one verb. A compound sentence that has two independent clauses. Yusuf was not the genius. Yusuf is subject and he is another subject. So this is an independent clause. He won title is another independent clause, and they both are joined by a conjunction in front with a comma. The third sentence type is complex sentence, which has one independent clause followed by one dependent clause. I had left my office is independent clause. When she reached there is dependent clause. When she reached there requires some more explanations. So this is dependent on I had left my office. Right now we are talking about the compound sentences. So these are the conjunctions. You can remember them by a word: fanboys, F for, A and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So when you are going to write a compound sentence, you have two independent clauses joined by a conjunction having a comma in front of that conjunction. Here are the examples. It was getting dark is an independent clause with a comma and a conjunction and independent clause we were not there yet. The another compound sentence examples is cats are good pets, for they are clean and are not noisy. They are clean and not noisy is an independent clause. Cats are good pets is another independent clause. They both are joined using a conjunction for having comma in front of that. Another way to make a compound sentence is using a transition word. Before that, we learned how to use a conjunction in addition to a comma for writing a compound sentence. Right now, we are going to use transition words. There is a big list of transition words, but we are featuring here 7 to 8. So they are usable. Making a compound sentence using these transition words is somewhat different than making with conjunction words. Here you see two transition words subsequently having a semicolon in front of and a comma after that. Another transition word is however, having a semicolon in front of and a comma after that. So this is an independent clause. Many people saw him there is another independent clause. We are just joining them by using a transition words. The first example, there were white-out conditions in the town. Subsequently, the roads were impassable. So they are both independent clauses joined by a transition word. So in using a transition word, you have to use a semicolon, a transition word, and a comma after that. When you use a conjunction word, you have to use comma and a conjunction after that and one independent clause. Now check your understanding. While you see these three examples of compound sentences on your video, please pause your video and have a pen and a paper and make some punctuations there and make them correctly punctuated as a compound sentence. Please stop your video. So here are the answer. Everyone was busy, so I went to the movie alone. In this first sentence, so is a conjunction, so we did use a comma in front of that. In second example, Italy is my favorite country is an independent clause. I plan to spend 2 weeks there next year is another independent clause, and we have joined that by using a transition word in fact. So a semicolon, transition word, and a comma after that. In the third sentence, Joe waited for train. Joe waited for the train, but the train was late. Joe waited for the train is an independent clause, but is a conjunction, so we use a comma in front of that. The train was late is another independent clause. The third type of compound sentence is where we don't use any conjunction or the transition word. Joe made the sugar cookies. Susan decorated them. If you closely review them, these both independent clauses are closely related. You can say there may be a word and in between both of them. But we did use a semicolon here and exempted the word and. So you can use this type of punctuation in order to make a compound sentence. But I would recommend to use this type of compound sentence in a paragraph or in a page once. This should not be overused. Another example is the sky is clear. The stars are twinkling. The sky is clear is independent clause. The stars are twinkling is another independent clause, and we did place a semicolon in between of them. So what we omitted? A conjunction that should go here. The waves are crashing on the shore is an example of independent clause. It was a lovely sight is another independent clause. Since they both are closely related, we have used a semicolon in order to make the compound sentence. Now let's review how to make a compound sentence. You can have three types of compound sentence. The first one is having a comma and a conjunction in between two independent clauses. The second type of compound sentence has a comma, a transition word, and a semicolon in between two independent clauses.